¿Qué onda, damas y caballeros? I am Joe Rodriguez, and welcome to another episode of the ETO Podcast. I'm here, joined today, as always, by El Super Mojado. And also Hugo Bernal.
Sin Yolanda, Mari Carmen, mi super.
What's up, fellas? How you guys doing today? Super. How are you? How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I'm ready here. A los chingadazos, véngase los dos.
No me duras.
Ya dijiste.
No me duras, super.
Hey, tú, Hugo, what's up with you? How you doing, brother?
Everything is good over here, but I'm disappointed. What happened to Charlie Kendall? Super, your man. Where's the commitment? Not even with MLS, man? Disappointed.
Hey, man. He's a family guy. Dedicated, family first.
But what I want to
totally
hold on. This is the question that I have. I think people might be disappointed in him, but how big of a blow is this to the league? Because Vela's probably or arguably the best player in the league, right?
All right, when you put all your canicas in Vela, man, you're waiting for this. It's just a matter of time. A guy with no commitment, a lot of quality, but no commitment whatsoever, even for MLS. So there you have it. He's not going for the MLS is back tournament. Wah, wah. Can I get a wah, wah, wah?
All right. Well, I was very disappointed myself at the beginning. Okay, I was like this. I was brought back when he started refusing to El Tri. I was like, oh, you know what? Why? Forget about him. Let's just not ask him to do anything if it requires commitment. But then I put myself in his shoes, and apparently it could be excuses, or it could be, or maybe not. But he said that his wife has a risky pregnancy. So I understand him. If he puts it in those words, now the guy, why would you lie about something like that? If you're saying that your wife has a risky pregnancy, then maybe I can understand. I would definitely let everything go if my wife had a risky pregnancy. Because I am a family guy and I would put family first.
No, I mean, there's nothing to say when family comes, but the problem here is it's a pattern now. And when you're calling for the wolf many times and the wolf doesn't show up, nobody's going to believe you next time. So I'm not believing it this time. I know you're a Vela believer. So I knew you were going to come up with something, and now you went all sentimental, family first type of thing, which it's okay. I understand. My family comes first as well. But I don't have the excuse to get to it where people don't believe it anymore. So that's what happened to Carlos Vela. I don't think he's at the point that he can say something like that. And unfortunately, he did it. He did it like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think that Super does make an argument, though. It's a decent argument because there's people that no matter what, they're going to do whatever they have to do to protect their family, right? And in this case, because of the situation, of the nature of the situation that the country is going through, right? The moments that we're living in, I mean, you really can't blame the guy in a way, right? Because there's people that hear me out. There's people that have said this. Well, he's getting paid millions and millions of dollars to entertain. He should show up. I mean, is that a good enough reason to force the guy to show up?
No, you can't force him.
Exactly.
Family first, but we were all expecting this. I guess it was timing that didn't work out. As I said, it's been a few times that we get disappointed from Carlos Vela. So Charlie Kendall does it again. It disappoints us.
But the one thing that I've seen is that he showed us that he is committed to this league. And he showed us that even when they were calling him to go to El Tri, he wanted to stick to the league and show that he can he can be that guy that the league was looking for.
Well, if he wasn't going to get committed to the MLS because they get how many months of vacation in MLS, Joe? They get who knows? Probably they play only 9 months out of the whole year or less.
Right.
If you don't get committed to MLS, then think about doing something else.
Well, like I said, it could be just a lie or maybe not. But when you use a reason like that, if you're lying about your wife having a risky pregnancy, then you're a totally different monster, you know. But,
okay.
Go ahead.
The thing that I see right here at the end of the day is, do we really want to see Carlos Vela in this tournament? Think about the Copa for Mexico, the tournament that they're playing right now. They're not all the teams. Then Dallas, I believe they postponed their game, isn't it, Joe? They were playing this Wednesday, and they moved it for another day because some health issues.
Right.
Are we going to see top teams right now? Probably not. So that's why probably he talked to somebody and he took his way out of it. And not LA Galaxy, LAFC probably said, all right, you know what, Carlitos, Charlie Campbell, you can stay in LA and enjoy your family and take care of them.
Right.
We're probably even gonna play him that much. Who knows?
Yeah.
But you see, the reason I kind of believe him is because this tournament, it wasn't just gonna be like Copa por Mexico. This every game in this tournament counts towards at least in the first phase. Counts towards the league. So you earning points towards the league. At least in the first. You know, like I'm saying, once this tournament is over, and if his wife's still pregnant at the time, I don't know when she's due, but we're gonna see if it's really true. If he just goes back and starts playing the league, then it's all bullshit. His wife's still pregnant. But if he doesn't play the beginning of the season because his wife's still pregnant, we're gonna say, oh, this guy is serious. You know what I'm trying to say here.
Yes.
Well, I think, you know what? You can make an argument for both cases, man. That's just a reality, right? You can say that, he's got the right to do whatever he wants. At the end of the day, he can to protect his family. But then also, like, there's an obligation to the fans. And that's the thing, right? There's like a fine line between reality, right? What we perceive as reality and the reality of the players. We're not in their shoes. We're never going to know what they're thinking or what they're going through, right? At the end of the day, man, especially somebody like Vela, who in the past has publicly said that football isn't even his first love. Why would he even bother risking his family's health? Regardless, you know what I mean? Like, his family could be in perfect health, right? But all it takes is for him to go out there, get sick, come back, and then get one of his family members sick. We don't know. I mean, we've seen it happen, like, with other people, with regular people, right? Like, just because they're players doesn't mean they're invincible. And I think that the concern is real. The threat is real. COVID-19 is real. Obviously, there's people out there that don't believe that, it's happening. But that's beside the point. The fact of the matter is that Carlos has the right. He is in the right to make that decision. And if the league is not going to fine him and that's not going to force him to go, then so be it. I think they if things would have been a little bit different and if his wife was not pregnant. Because I think that if his wife was not pregnant or there was not a legitimate family emergency or medical emergency, then he would have been forced to go. And then if he chose not to go, then maybe he would have been fine. But even so, like, I'm not 100% sure on that. But the reality is that Carlos Vela means so much to the league. And right now, me personally, when LAFC is playing, like, I'll watch a little bit of the game here and there, but I'm not going to watch it as much as I would have been watching if Vela was playing. I'm also a big Vela fan, dude. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, I'm going to sound like super for a second here, but he's been playing lights out, dude. And I don't know if I'm the only one. I mean, let me ask you, Hugo. Like, have you been watching MLS when Vela's playing? Like, is he even appealing to you? Like, during the time that he's been turning it up?
No. He's above this league. Really, he's above MLS. That's why we all wonder why he ended up there. And there's no problem really for him to say, "Listen, I'm gonna go take care of my family. I'm not gonna play this tournament." Anybody can say that, and I support to do that. I encourage them to say that and take care of their family. The issue here is that what he's done before, it comes to a position where he's not that comfortable to say that when it's a real problem, when it's a real situation. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take care of your family and my family. Oh yeah, and what happened before? Why didn't you want to go to L3? Why didn't you want to play in Europe maybe and play for a better team or a better league or anything that kind of push you a little bit more? And he goes into his comfort zone and he wants to stay there. And then when an issue like this, real issue comes up like this, people are already annoyed by him not being so committed.
Right.
It's real. Maybe he needs a time with his family. He needs to take care of them. It's real, so he has to take care of them. Nobody can force him to do. But the thing is, because of the stuff that he's said before, now not a lot of people will believe it.
I just think that if this was all bull, I think the league would have enough resources to make sure Vela could.
There's no way to find out if it's bull or not.
Right.
No, but I'm saying the league would have pushed for it, and if they came up with the right, price, he would have played this tournament. So I think that there could be, some truth to this. And
you think the league is gonna start paying him extra for show up to a tournament, and when they're probably in a crisis, in an economic crisis?
Don't you think they're paying the players a little extra, maybe hazard pay? Have you that to play this tournament? Because there was an agreement between the Players Association and the league.
Yeah, they took like a 7% or 8% pay cut. That was the agreement.
That's what I'm saying. So
no, you were saying that they were going to pay them extra for hazard.
No, that's what I'm saying. Hazard pay,
Well, no, because it's a crisis. Actually, they cut off their salaries, super.
Right. Yes, they did. But if they wanted really him to play, they could get an agreement.
So let's do this. Let's cut everybody's salary because it's a crisis. And Vela, we really want you to come. We'll pay you extra. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
Super. Come on.
Yeah.
But who do you think is gonna bring you more money to this tournament?
Nah, but you can't. That would be. Vela is not more than MLS.
Yeah, that's true.
He's above in quality, but Vela is not more than even the team. Right. Nobody, no single player is above a team.
Yeah.
But you just have
look at Ronaldo and Real Madrid, dude. Ronaldo was not bigger than Real Madrid, even though Ronaldo's the best player in the world.
I know who's bigger than Real Madrid, Florentino Perez, but that's another. We're not ready for that. You guys are not ready for this conversation.
No, we're not.
But Joe, you just said a few minutes ago that you are more likely to watch LAFC when Vela is there.
No, I said that. That's me.
That's not a secret. Super. That's not a secret. No, everybody would. That's not a secret. But you're not going to pay more just to show up and cut everybody else's salary. Don't worry, people. We're just going to pay you less. But Carlos Vela, no, we'll pay you more. Forget about the whole team. No.
Come on. It's not like it's not like we're this is the first time it happens. We know that happens. They pay other players more than
not when they're cutting a salary.
Hold on, guys. All right. So here's the other thing that we have to also think about, right? So yes, I mean I mentioned in my opinion, right, that I'm gonna watch less MLS because Vela's not gonna be there. Specifically the LAFC games, but when Pizarro's playing, I'm going to want to watch. When Pulido's playing, I'm going to want to watch, right? And if Chicharito ends up going, the Galaxy plays, I'm going to want to watch. So, again, yeah, Vela is a very important piece, but like Hugo mentioned, he's right. Nobody's bigger than the league. At the end of the day, Zlatan was not bigger than the league. You know what I mean? Even though he said it 100 times that he was bigger than the league. Nobody is bigger than the league. That's just the reality, dude. I mean, it's gonna be an impact, but obviously the league is not gonna fold. At the end of the day, the supporters are still gonna come and go. Think about this, Super. You and I witnessed this firsthand. when we went over to Philadelphia, right? You and I were there because we wanted to watch Marco Fabian play, and we watched him play. But the fans there were still having a blast, and they didn't give a crap if Marco Fabian was playing or not.
Yes, but we're talking about two different players. You cannot put Marco Fabian with Carlos Vela, man.
Bella Believer right here.
Yeah,
we got Bella Believer. He's even bigger than Raúl Jiménez.
Come on, dude. Nah, man.
Anyway.
But let me just say this one thing though.
Okay.
We all know that there's players that get special treatment. So you cannot tell me that doesn't happen. I mean, what used to happen with Zlatan then? How long did we have to wait, Joe? That day that we went, I think it was New York. How long did we have to wait? And all the press that was there.
But that's normal too, though. That's normal, though. You know, like the players make you wait no matter what. You know, if they want to, if Zlatan wanted to, he would have made all of us like camp out. But that's a whole different story.
But that's what he did.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
But what does that have to do with, like, you know, people wanting to watch overall or not? You know what I mean? And the special treatment.
Well, what I'm just saying is that there's a special treatment for players.
If there's a league where you wouldn't have this special treatment, it would be the MLS. I would think so, because the way the America's culture it is. I mean, you could be a movie star, great, but in New York City, you're just a regular walker in the streets, right?
True.
I think it's similar the same way in MLS. They were saying even David Beckham, he would split the check with players who had they would earn like $25,000 a year, and he would make millions a year, and they would split the check in a restaurant.
Right.
Instead of just taking care. That's his personal decision, and it's his money. He can do whatever he wants. But I'm talking about treatment from the team. I don't think there's a special treatment. As in you sign a contract. If you're Carlos Vela, you're gonna sign a contract for a lot of money.
Right.
If you're Pepito, you're gonna sign a contract for X amount of money. That's the special treatment. Nothing else. Not you won't get like a wider seat on the bus, or you won't get like a bigger locker or anything else.
Right.
Everybody goes the same way. You get the special treatment in your contract. That's it.
Yeah. Even Zlatan flew a commercial, dude.
Coach.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe he upgraded his own ticket or whatever. But yeah, he flew commercial. I saw him at the airport a couple of times. You know, and they all have to travel together. So I mean, you're right, Hugo. Like, it's not like there was a golden locker room for Zlatan. There's no golden locker room for Vela. The only instance that I can probably agree with Super as far as special treatment for players is with referees. I think that sometimes, and you see this obviously in the NBA, right? The LeBron James don't get the same calls that some of the other guys may get. And it's also in mega, like, you know, these mega stars, right? Like the Zlatan, Ronaldo's, Messi's. The referees are sometimes intimidated by them. That's the reality.
That's it. That's intimidation. Nothing else. It's personality. It's nothing that, I'm just going to let him. And I'm pretty sure, like, that would be weak from a ref. Because
but it happens. It happens.
His foot up here. No, it does happen, I'm sure. But also, I wouldn't be afraid to take straight red to Zlatan when he puts his foot up here.
Of
like
course.
He likes to do it.
Of course.
So,
exactly.
I agree with that, but that's vague, you know? It's not like, it's a special treatment for Zlatan. It's not set. It's not written. It's not.
No, of course not.
Vague
no, those are like unwritten rules. But
exactly.
Anyway, guys. So we're actually gonna take a little commercial break here in just a second. When we come back, we're actually gonna be showing one of our Latino and business entrepreneur segments. We have a really cool segment coming up right now, so make sure that you guys stay tuned. In just a couple of seconds. Quickly, guys, let's wrap up this Carlos Vela segment. I just want to ask you guys one final question. Are we ever going to see Vela back with El Tri? Hugo, a simple yes or no, and why?
No. We're not going to see him. He's done. I think Tata Martino should have it clear. My question here is, ¿qué ha ganado Carlos Vela? Because I don't see much. He MVP last year, great, but ¿qué ha ganado Super?
Nada. I agree with you there. I mean, nada, yeah.
All right.
All right.
Good. Is he, now you answer this. Is he going back to El Tri?
Well, that would be up to Tata. I think he wants to go to.
You're a Vela believer. Unbelievable.
No, that. Yeah, but
Vela Liber.
Vela Liber.
He wants to go to the Olympics. I don't know if it's gonna happen. Like Tata said, is either you go to all the teams or you go to no teams. So, hey.
I don't think he's gonna go back either. I agree with Hugo. I think that he's pretty much done. But I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same boat. I guess you and I, Hugo, are on the same boat. But Super's in the Vela believer, realm. Allá está por Júpiter or por Saturn or something like that. And maybe he's floating around the Vela planet.
No, my man.
Bueno, pues. All right, guys, let's go ahead and take a little short break. And when we come back, we'll be talking to Jorge Perales and the Latino Business Entrepreneur segment. So we'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere.
Salud, Super.
Hey, fans from El Tri Online, Joe Rodriguez here in Bristol, Connecticut, and welcome to another edition of the ETO Latino Business Entrepreneur segment. Today we have a special guest all the way from Boyle Heights out there in California. It's George Parrales. George, how are you today, man?
I'm good, guys. How are you guys doing?
Hey, George, so before we talk a little bit about your business, I want you to give us a little bit of background about you. We want to get to know you. Why don't you tell us about that?
All right. Give a little brief description. I'm 33 years old. I am a Nicaraguense native. So I was born in Nicaragua. I came here at the age of 4 years old with my mother and my two older brothers. Moved out here to Boyle Heights. Growing up in Boyle Heights, most of the common commodities they were out here was gangs and violence. So me and my brothers, as a pastime, we went into basketball, sports, and to arts. So that's how I kind of grew up with sports and a lot of art in my background.
Hey, George, welcome. Real quick, so I hope you're doing well. So let's talk about your business. How did your business start? How did you come about it?
It took some time. It's like 10 years in the making. I was always fascinated with art. I didn't know exactly what type of art I was doing or how I could monetize what I was doing, So I went into commercial artwork, which I studied at LA Trade Tech. I studied fine graphics. I also studied at UCLA College, took some art classes there, and I also studied at the Occupational Center for Graphic Design. So after doing a lot of research, after pretty much studying what an advertisement company does, I decided to take that leap and begin my own company. That's where Casual Living is today.
Hey, really quick, talk to us about the name. What inspired the name?
It's it's a funny thing. In school, there's a font. There's a font. It's called Casual. On first semester, you learn a few fonts. You learn Gothic, you learn Roman, you learn script, and at the end, you learn Casual, which is pretty much your own signature style of font. But that's kind of how I was as a person. I would just be like a casual dude. I was just, just going about everything real casual. So once I kind of learned how to do that font, I mastered it. I'm able to do an alphabet in about 35 seconds, which is pretty fast, Wow. Everybody in school know me as, that's the casual. That's the guy with the casual. So as how I was as a person, I always lived it as a casual person. So I was like, you know what? this sounds pretty cool. I think casual living has a good ring to it. And yeah, it stuck, and everybody kind of just remembered me as casual living murals. And that's how pretty out.
Now let's talk about a little bit more about the business. Let's dive into it. And why don't you talk to us about the ins and outs of the actual business?
Okay. So what we do, a lot of it is commercial artwork, like I have stated before. We mostly do schools. So let's say a client reaches out to us, they need a new logo. So we're able to do that as well. I have the background in graphic design, like I have mentioned. So if a client has an idea but doesn't know exactly where he wants to go, I kind of take the lead on that. You know, I advise them what steps to take, what colors they should use, the type of text that they should use for the business the business or product that they're providing. You know, so I try to educate them on the process. If they're open to it, most of the time they are. It's kind of like a smooth transition where we create for the client. I create mock-ups. I present them with the ideas before I paint it. Once they give me the green light or they give me the approval, then we show up, paint it, and that's pretty much how it goes for the mural aspect of it. We also do screen printing as well. So what I like doing for my clients is I create the artwork for them, which is a vector artwork, which means you could put that artwork on, let's say, a vehicle. You could put it on business cards. You could put it on hats. So I provide them with the artwork as well. So I think that's what gives us the upper hand on other businesses. They're not doing that, what we do in the business or the services that we provide.
Nice. George, you said you've been coming around your business. It took about 10 years to get to where you are at this point. What are some of the challenges you've encountered along the way to get to at this point in your life with your business?
It sounds a little messed up, but I'm just going to go out of there and say it. You sometimes have to take your talent or your brand, your company out of the neighborhood, because sad to say is people want things super cheap. You know, they want really good work for cheap, and the type of work that we provide, it's not cheap. We do really, really good work and large scale work too. So a lot of in the beginning, the things I used to encounter was everybody would lowball me, you know, and I knew what I brought to the table. I knew that our work was really good. So, I kind of just started, freaking out. And after that, I kind of met the clients that would actually appreciate the work that I did, and the prices that I'll give out, they knew that they were fair. So that's kind of one of the that I heard in the beginning, which was nobody really wants to pay for good work. And with me, like I said, it kind of just discouraged me a little bit, because, like I said, I have gone to school for it. Put in the time, I did the research. Just like any other profession, man. Like you do what you love, and you bring it home. You do everything that you do, and for clients to kind of downgrade you, it's discouraging. But that's kind of one of the things I would say that was the obstacle starting the business. It was just having people trust you and actually moving forward with the pricing that you provided.
You mentioned the hood and getting out of there, but you're still part of someone's community. Your business is part of the community. So can you talk to us about the connection between your business and that community you serve?
Yeah. So Boyle Heights, originally when I started too, I did a lot of free work for schools. I did Mendez High School. I did Hollenbeck Middle School. Hollenbeck Middle Schools, I attended there when I was, going to middle school. So I provided some free work for them. After they saw the work that I was doing, they kind of just started spreading the word. We have a guy, he's from the neighborhood. I've lived there I still live there. But yeah, like I said, I gave back to the community. Sometimes there's projects where schools reach out to me and say, "Hey, George, can you come out and, can you do something for us?" And if I have the time to do it, I always do. You know what I mean? I like to give back. But like I said, sometimes I like taking my talent elsewhere, but I still bring it back home to where it all started,
Okay, George, keeping it in the community, we noticed that you did a Kobe mural. Can you elaborate a little more on what the meaning of that Kobe mural is? What it means to you? Why you did?
Yeah. So, as you know, Ivan, I play sports. Like I said in the beginning of the interview, I respected Kobe as an athlete. You know, he was great. He was a great basketball player. Just his mindset for the game, it was just, you know, it was unmatched. Honest, everybody compares him to Jordan, but he's like the Jordan era. So you know what? There's a lot of things that I looked up to him. You know, like I said, he was a great player. I remember once he had 81 points. I was able to play one time and have 71 points. So I'm like, hey, this is a point difference there. You know, he tore his Achilles. I tore my Achilles. I tore my Achilles in the Kobe 9 on his shoe. So so it was kind of special. You know, I was like, you know what? This is crazy. I got the news. My girlfriend called me. I was here at work, and once I got the news, I was like, you know what, man? I have to pay my respects. I have to do something that is memorable, something for the community, because I know a lot of people. I mean, he's LA, dude. He's Kobe, LA. Yeah. So I was able to reach out to a business owner down the street from my house. She had a nice wall. And yeah, she gave us the opportunity. I showed her the design, and she said, start today if you want. And sure enough, within 3 days, we finished the Kobe mural, and we got a lot of good feedback from the community. Everybody respected the mural, and they loved it.
That's incredible, man. And you mentioned that Kobe, you know, it was an inspiration to you. Now, can you talk about maybe like some people or individuals that inspired you in the process of building your business?
Yeah. You know what? I have a few people. Had a friend, Hector. He was a teacher there at Mendez. He's the one that pretty much bought me paint when I was struggling, going to school. My girlfriend, she motivated. She pushed me every time I, you know, felt down, or I was like, you know what? I don't think this is gonna work. She kept saying, push it. You know, this is a gift. This is your gift. This is your passion. Keep pushing. And another big inspiration to me has always been my mom. You know, my mother has worked in the hospital. She does housekeeping. She's been there for about 17 years. She's never been late once. She's never been absent. So she has like a perfect record. So my brothers too, you know, I just had like, growing up, like I said, I had good role models, you could say. You know, I just didn't want to be the black sheep. I had big Bill. I had a hardworking mom, hardworking brothers. So I just knew it was my turn. And so I took that in consideration and said, you know what, we come from humble beginnings. You know, we've grown up with not much. As growing up, we used to panhandle, and we used to collect cans for recyclables for the weekend. So that just, everything I've been through kind of just reminded me of why I'm doing this and why I should keep pushing for what I'm doing. But yeah, like I said, my brothers and my mother were like a big inspiration to me starting the business.
That's great, man. That's great.
So, that's actually really inspiring, dude. You mentioned your mom works in a hospital. Right. Bringing in the question, during this pandemic, have you encountered any just tough times regarding your business? Yeah, like what have you encountered with the pandemic?
My thing, like I said, I deal a lot with LAUSD, which is Los Angeles Unified School District. That's our contract. That's where we usually work with. And I had 4 contracts pending before COVID-19 hit. So, you know, it was looking good for the business. It was, you know, like I said, it's contract, and there were big accounts. Once that happened, the schools called me up. They said, hey, George, we're sorry. We can't move forward with this account. And I didn't plan this. You know, I mean, no one was ready for this. So, it was a toll on us. It was to the point where I said, you know what, I might have to just close down casual living. And it was tough. I was stressing out a lot. The thing that it made me, because it took me so long to get here, and it wasn't my choice to say, you know what, it's over. It was just literally taken from me. And that's what hurt. Where I said, you know what, I put my blood, sweat, and tears into the business, and within seconds, they said, you know what, close it all down. But I was resilient. Once that happened, I said, you know what, there's other ways of making income. I said, I'm good with my hands. I'm creative. And I literally started painting homes, like houses. I'm like, dude, it's easy. That's easy money. It's not creating a logo. It's not measurements. It's literally just one color. And I was fast. And sure enough, I got accounts. They came in. Clients were happy with my work. They called me back, painted some more. And after that, luckily, I had an account for a school which reached out to me. They said, hey, George, are you still willing to paint for us? And I said, when do you want me to start? And that was one of the big accounts that I was waiting for. And sure enough, we knocked it out in 4 days, got paid, and literally that account saved my business.
That's great, man. That's an awesome story, man. So now that you mentioned being resilient, and it's obviously something that all entrepreneurs need to have with them, but also entrepreneurs need a vision. So can you talk to us about the vision for the future of your business?
So right now, what we want to do as a business, we want to grow. Sometimes we get 4 projects in the year. I want to be able to get 4 projects in a day. That's my goal. I want to expand because the people that work for me, we have similar backgrounds. We have, similar stories. We don't come from money. We don't come from these, like families with wealth or anything like that. We made choices in the past, growing up as kids that weren't the best choices, put us in some situations that we didn't want to be. But we got a second opportunity. And I think by me creating the business, like, yo, you know what? You guys work, you guys get to do what you guys love to do and get paid for it at the end of the day. So if I could bring in more guys with similar backgrounds that could share their stories and honestly be an inspiration to others, I think that's the main goal. It's just like saying, you know what? I didn't have everything growing up. I didn't have the best. I didn't have a dad, whatever the case may be, but you made something of it, So I always go by this motto. It's life's a canvas. What are you going to paint? So it's pretty much like, hey, man, it's not the greatest. You were dealt some whack cards, but make something of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's pretty much what I want to do. I want to expand, and hopefully we can keep growing, and we get more opportunities and have more guys with similar backgrounds and just keep pushing,
Yeah. Hey, George. So you mentioned you live in Boyle Heights, and some prominent people have actually came out of Boyle Heights, and we have a lot of young children actually that look up to certain people. If somebody wants to open up a business, what piece of advice can you give to them in regards to opening up a business?
Right. So there's a few things. One thing, what I recommend is don't chase the money. Do what you love doing first. Find the thing that you love doing, and then try to kind of do the research and learn how you can monetize it. Because I think some people just see the end goal, which is money. Okay, I want to make income, thousands of dollars. But sometimes when you're in that position, you're not even happy doing what you're doing. But if you're not happy, honestly, you're going to work your whole life. I tell people, try to do what you like doing. And if you learn how to monetize it, that's good, But like I said, go into a field where you say, you know what, I could do this 40, 80 hours. And then there's going to be days or weeks when it's a dry spell, you're not getting anything, So I would tell people too, just don't get discouraged. There's things that sometimes are not going to go your way, but you got to keep pushing. You got to keep pushing. And another thing I could say is educate yourself. On the service or product that you're selling or providing, the services that you're providing, you got to educate yourself, because if someone else is doing the same thing you're doing at a cheaper price or a better product, then there's something that you have to be doing different in order for the client to take you in consideration. So there's a lot of people that try to do something that someone else is already doing, but they're not doing the different things that'll make them stand out of the crowd, So that's a main important thing too. Like I tell people, like, if you have something that you think is something special, then what's that extra special thing that you're doing that the others are not doing? And I think
that's great, man. That's great. Your story has been extremely inspiring, George. And we
Thank
really
you,
want to thank you very much for taking your time and talking to us today. Now, if people want to get a hold of you, how can they do so?
Social media platforms, you could find me under Casual Living Murals on Instagram, or you guys can go to the website as well, www.casuallivingmurals.com. We also have a Yelp page where you guys can see some of our work that we've done. Like I said, most of our work is commercial work. We do smaller scale work, but most of the stuff that we do is large scale buildings and stuff like that. But like I said, any job we're happy to take on, and we're just, like I said, glad that we're able to do what we love to do day in and day out.
That's great, man. And again, absolutely inspiration to the Latino communities, because it's extremely important that we continue celebrating success together between all of us Latinos. So best of luck to you, George, and your business. And again, thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to talk to you.
Hey, likewise, guys. I had a good time.
Thank you, George.
All right, take care, man. We are back, everybody. I want to thank really quickly once again Jorge Parrales with Casual Living Murals for that awesome interview. I also want to thank Ivan Toribio for hooking it up and making sure that that we became aware of Jorge. It's extremely important for us to continue to support all the Latino business entrepreneurs out there, guys. Super, Hugo, do you guys have anybody that you guys want to give a shout out? Any entrepreneurs you guys might know?
Well, my cousin, man. My cousin, El Tino.
Primo.
Uncle Bob's.
No, todos los Latinos, everybody who's that's why we're here in this country to work and to succeed, and we're all doing it. So a todos los Latinos que tienen su negocio, hay que seguirle dando con todo para adelante.
Bien dicho, Hugo. That's very well said. All right, guys. So we have some time here left, and the other big topic I wanted to talk about was the Copa for Mexico. So we already have the first little games already under, under the belt, our belt. Like if I played, right? Pero I wanted to ask you guys, and Super, I want to start with you. So you saw all 8 teams are in the tournament at this moment. From all those 8 teams, who do you think, or who did you like as the favorite to win it all right now, just based off what you saw in the first 4 games?
Oh, man. That one's hard, man. They all suck.
Nah. Ask me.
Por la goleada diría que Cruz Azul, but I don't know, man. I want to see the second round.
All right, fair enough. But I do think it's Cruz Azul. They started down in the scoreboard in the first few minutes of the game, and they had the time and the patience to settle and to do their system that they like. They were in the first place when everything gets canceled, right? And they were doing a great job, a fantastic job actually. And now they play Pumas, who they've had their ups and downs lately, but I think Pumas were doing great before. They were doing good. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
They were constant a little bit.
Yeah.
But Cruz Azul, they've been constant for a long time, and I think that's what gets you the tournaments in Liga MX or in Mexico, really. If you're constant for 2 years, forget about it. You more likely will be getting some silverware in Mexico. Look what happens to Tuca Ferretti. Look what happens to America when they give him some money, some good players, and some patience.
Yeah.
With Chivas, it's a different case. But Cruz Azul, they're the ones doing the best right now. And El Suri Ledesma, I think, is doing a good job. And it's just a matter of time. We're going to see Cruz Azul up there. Who knows?
Do you guys... sorry, Super. I was just wondering... do you guys think that the teams are taking this tournament serious? Are all of them taking it serious? I'm sure some are, but maybe others aren't. What do you guys think?
No, I think that it's just practice for them. It's just a way to get ready for the tournament. You know, they're not gonna go all in because they run the risk of injuries. You know, and that's you know, you don't want to miss players. You know, like right from the get go, and you know, if you get a serious injury, you have players that be out for. It could be out for the whole season, you know, depending on what kind of injury. So I think they van a jugar a medio gas.
I think some of the teams, for example, to me, Chivas, they're the ones that are getting the most benefit out of this tournament. Why I say this? Because, yes, they're not playing their top players or they're top players right now, but they don't have really top players. They have a lot of young people, so what a fantastic time to try them out. The problem is, once you get Cruz Azul, once you get America, once you get even Pumas up there with their 8 teams, it's going to be a problem. A lot of young people in Chivas, it's going to be tough, but it's good. At least they're getting some minutes right now, and at least they're doing good stuff. I like the mentality, what I saw from Chivas, right from the beginning, straight up, very ambitious, the way they were playing, which is great. Every time you see El Flaco Tena with an ambitious team, which is hard for him because I don't see him as a motivational coach or anything. But every time they get an ambitious team in the field, El Flaco Tena gets results. Look what happened in London. Hopefully this team stays fit, stays healthy, and they keep that motivation. They keep that the ambition that they have right now. So if that happens, I can see Chivas doing something important.
You said to stay fit, and that just reminded me of.
I know where you're going with this.
La Chofi Lopez there. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I saw one comparing it with Ronaldo. Ronaldo R9, El Ronaldo, and it says, "Don't compare it, just enjoy it." Oh man, that's something. And to be honest, even the way he looked, he made a couple passes, through passes that they were good. As we all know, Chofi Lopez has some quality, he's an intelligent player. But yeah, a lot of tortillas, a lot of torta ahogada.
But it was not just him though. I saw a lot of players that were they looked overweight. Obviously, when you see them in person, they're not the same. But you know how TV makes you look more heavier than what you actually are.
Like and right now.
A lot of right now. I'm only 125. So
I have a 6-pack. It's just the TV. It's just the TV.
Guys, so tomorrow. So tomorrow in day 3 of the Copa for Mexico, we're gonna have 2 matches between. The first one is between MAZATLÁN FC and Pumas versus America. Believe it or not, guys, even though I know the Pumas versus America is obviously one of the most important matches when it comes to Mexican soccer, I'm actually a little excited about Mazatlán, man. I like the way they played against Tigres. What do you guys think?
I don't know, man. I think
okay. That says it.
It was fun to watch. It was fun to watch. It looked like nobody wanted to put the ball in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That was a boring game, man. Anyways.
No, but wait, hold on. What about? I think, and I know fue un ya merito, but what about that play they had, man? Where if it wasn't for Nahuel Guzman, that would have been a golazo. That was like maybe like 6-7 consecutive touches. It was like a little whoop in the middle all the way through, and un manotazo. That's literally what saved Tigres from getting that mega golazo scored on them. They actually impressed me more than I thought. They were going to perform.
The same way you saw it on the other side of the pitch. You saw Tigres, they didn't put it in by this. And they could have easily scored 3 more than Mazatlán, I think. I remember that play that you were saying. I don't think they didn't impress me. Every time you get a new team in Liga MX, you have to come out as Celaya did in their time. Otherwise, you're not gonna be anything. You're not gonna do anything important unless you stay there, manage to stay there in the desk and in the field for at least 10 years, I say.
And Cholos. Let's remember how Cholos.
Oh yeah, Cholos did good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, I think I mean, I like that Valencia is coaching them, and I want to see more of Valencia. I think that his career is just starting, and I think he has a lot of potential. So yeah, on that angle, I am a little excited to see this Mazatlán of Valencia.
They have they put a new name to the stadium. What, do you remember the name? You have to do it with a Sinaloense accent because I forgot the name. El Crane, something like that. I forgot.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
check.
yeah. They just I know what you're talking about. I literally just saw that right now. But anyway, but Pumas and America again, a very good game. America actually ended up winning their matchup 2-0. And then obviously we talked about Pumas. They lost to Cruz Azul 4-1. So Pumas is going to have to come out if they want to stay alive in this tournament because, again, it's a short tournament. And if Pumas loses, they can pretty much kiss their chances to moving on to the semis goodbye.
It's going to be a good game. And America, they showed in the first game that they have potential. So it's going to be fun. I think we're going to see in semis un Clásico Nacional.
Could be. It could be, for sure. I didn't for Chivas though. I didn't like how they started good. The first half was intense, but the second half they just they after all the substitutions they just kind of disappear. Everything changes
with the substitutions. It was interesting to me to see Oribe Peralta. He had a couple chances, and he looked fit to me. I think that shows a little bit of how professional he is.
Well, then
well, yeah, if you compare it to that. But what has Trophies done? Nothing. And what Oribe Peralta has done? Everything, really, except playing in Europe. But he probably did. I don't even remember. I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. No.
No. But
he is the gold medal winner. Let's not forget, right?
No. Besides that, he's Oribe Peralta. He could have show up to this tournament overweight, and nobody would have said anything. When you're Trophy Lopez, what have you win? Nothing. And you're showing up like this? Let's be professional.
That's true. Chivas is going to be taking on Tigres in day 3, and who's the other matchup here that we got? Here we go in day 4.
We have Cruz Azul.
Oh, yeah, Chivas, Tigres, and Cruz Azul Toluca. So those are the other two matches. Who do you guys like in those?
I think Cruz Azul takes the whole thing.
Ya le dio el título.
Te fuiste recio.
The way they play, that's it. Nothing else.
I think they got lucky.
Super. You're a funny guy.
No tuvieron rival.
Nah. I think it's the best team right now.
Let's look at this week too, and yeah, I mean, for that second day, I think that obviously Chivas Tigres, there's a little bit of history there now.
Right. No, yeah. There's
it's gonna be fun.
It definitely should be interesting, fellas. So just quickly as we begin to wrap up the Copa for Mexico and Liga MX. There's another tournament that they're going to be starting. It's the Copa Telcel. I think it was like through Pachuca, León, if I'm not mistaken. There's a couple of other teams. But is that game not really that important? I mean, that tournament not that important because... Exactly. Copa Telcel.
I mean, it's valid. It's valid. They couldn't get this Copa for Mexico for everybody, all the teams. So it's valid. I would have done the same, and especially if you get Carlos Slim putting some money in it. Of course, I would do it. They get Telcel in there. Do it. Why not? And then hopefully Liga Balompié they can start sometime soon.
Yeah, that's what I want to see more than these other tournaments.
Yeah, León is not big enough for you, Super. You want to see los como chapulineros?
I want to see los chapulineros. Yeah, that's what I want to see.
There's but Liga de Balompié, I mean, they're also, little by little making noise here and there, signing older players, signing, decent players that were maybe forgotten.
It's a guy coming from what's his name? From Italy,
right?
Montolivo.
Exactly.
Wow.
Who's he
Is
going to be playing for again?
Somewhere in Veracruz, I believe. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Who was bringing a team to Veracruz? El Chaco? No, it's not El Chaco.
No,
it's in
Chaco's going to be in
Cancun.
Cancun, yeah.
Yeah, but that's what
It's somebody, the coach, it was somebody important in Veracruz. I forgot. But that'll be interesting, and that's how you do it. You don't need a better teacher than MLS right there.
Right.
And if Montolivo wants to leave in El Puerto,
Jalapa. That's who.
Yeah.
It's gonna be for FC Jalapa. So, I mean, yeah, you're right. At the end of the day,
who's the coach? Do we know?
I don't think they have a coach just yet.
In Jalapa.
No.
I thought they had somebody important there, but who knows? Yeah, bring players. Why not?
He may end up being the coach too.
I've seen it before.
Exactly.
Oh, what about Los Cuervos? That's a possibility of them bringing them to Balompié.
That's another team that super would support just because he saw the entire thing on Netflix.
Oh my God. All right, guys. Well, I mean, look, I've said it in the past. I think that for me, at the end of the day, if the Liga de Balompié Mexicano succeeds, it's a great thing for everybody. You know, because obviously it just means more opportunity for everybody to go across the board, including ourselves. You know, and actually, as a matter of fact, we're going to be reaching out to them to try to get some interviews with the coaches as they get announced, with some of the players as well. You know, so if we get the opportunity to talk to them, you know that we'll definitely have them here on the 3 Online. So, hey, I'm all for that, dude. And if it just means that it's going to improve Mexican soccer, denle duro. Mátense si quieren. Not literally. Not literally.
If we get an interview with Montolivo, I think El Super speaks Italian. So, you ready? You ready, Super?
Échamelo.
Parla italiano, el Super Mojadation. All right, guys. I think that's all the time that we have today, fellas. Nice job. Thank you very much for sticking around for another episode of the ETO Podcast. And again, I want to thank Jorge Parrales at Casual Living Murals. And if you guys want to visit his website, you do so by visiting www.casuallivingmurals.com. And again, support Latino businesses, man. Because that's what we got to do. We got to keep on supporting all the raza. All the Latinos have to stick together. You know, let's not forget to, like, tap each other on the back every time, you know, un carnal is doing something good. So, chavos, last words.
Oye, saludos a la banda que nos ven desde Guanajuato el día de hoy.
Ande, pues.
Esto mero.
Saludos a esa banda.
Saludos hasta Guanajuato.
Hugo, go ahead, brother.
Real quick. There's some giveaways coming up, so stay tuned. Follow in Instagram. That's where we're gonna be announcing the whole thing. Hugo Deportes. Follow, and you'll be you'll get to know all these giveaways. Super. You can even participate in those because you didn't go any farther in the FIFA tournament.
No discrimination. Órale.
As a matter of fact, Hugo, it's a good thing that you just reminded me that, because I'm gonna give this code out right now. Make sure that you write it down. It's code 416920. All right, 416920. Save that code. It might be important. Just letting you guys know. All right. On behalf of Super Mojado.
Donde el Super enterró a su jefe.
On behalf of Super Mojado and Hugo Bernal, I'm Joe Rodriguez. Thank you very much for tuning in. That does it for this edition of the ETO Podcast. Cuídense todos. Nos vemos.
See you guys.